Okay, welcome folks to another edition of Beyond the Numbers. As ever, I'm your host, Chris Thompson, and today I am joined by none other than our managing partner, Christina Nawrocki, who is 2 days after the marathon. Christina, how are you feeling?
Well, I've brought my medal along because I have to keep looking at that whilst I'm sitting in pain.
Somewhere in my attic or loft, I've got one from 2012. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Didn't look as big as that.
2012, was it? You did it?
Yeah.
Oh my
So
gosh.
like you,
Yeah.
I have done it. Yeah. I just remember feeling in quite a lot of pain for quite a few days afterwards.
Yeah, I have to say, yesterday was a good day. So I was surprised in the morning how good I
Yeah.
felt because I came back from London yesterday morning. As I progressed through the day yesterday, things
Right.
got harder. And yeah, I saw a very good tip on our Facebook group yesterday evening that you should go downstairs backwards, because that
Really?
was a bit of a struggle. Yeah, going upstairs is fine. Going down is a little bit of a problem. So somebody said go down backwards, and I have to say that's a
It
game changer
works.
at the moment. So
Isn't that a
I'm
bit
currently
risky
in one of our
going
I'm in one of
backwards?
our offices today, and I'm going down the stairs backwards.
Just yeah, mind your step
So
carefully then.
yes, yeah, exactly. So I'm a bit slower than normal.
Okay, so I mean, to start with a bit of context, so you've done the 26.2 miles. For
Yeah.
those who haven't seen on social posts, so you are not a runner, as I understand it, right?
I'm definitely not a
Before
runner.
this, yeah,
Yes, I'm definitely not a runner. I think even more so than that, I'm just not an exerciser.
right,
So I don't go to the gym. I don't do aerobics classes. I just find it all a bit dull. Um, so yeah, that's probably why it was even such a bigger thing for me, because I'm not that way inclined. I just find exercise quite boring, if the truth be known. And a lot of people that know me well uh, probably had a lot of doubt about this little challenge.
Well, so you didn't start with a 5K or a 10K or even a half marathon. You've decided from not doing a huge amount of exercise, I think as you said, to doing 26.2 miles.
Yeah. Well, I thought, if you're going to do it, go big, right?
Go big or go home, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Go big or go home. Um, yeah, I did watch it. I watched it on the telly in October last year. Got quite kind of into the vibe of what was going on. It looked a lot of fun. All the people kind of dressing up and stuff like that. And I just thought, oh, do you know what? I think I might fancy a crack at
I
that.
could do
Felt
that.
like I needed a challenge, hadn't had a great year. So I thought, oh, I need something to focus on. And did a bit of reading up. They did say that you could train for a marathon in 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, spoke to a friend about it. She was up for accepting the challenge as well. So that was quite helpful that, I had somebody to do it with as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did apply to the ballot at that point.
Yeah.
Didn't get in through the ballot. My friend didn't get in through the ballot. But by that point, I think we'd kind of psyched ourselves up for doing it. So because we didn't get into the ballot, we were like, right, okay, let's now do it for a charity. And we both got a couple of offers from charities, actually.
Fantastic.
So
Okay.
proceeded from there.
Excellent. So which charity did you do it for?
So
For those who
I did
don't
it for
know.
Macmillan.
Right.
I did, my first choice was Cancer UK. But yeah, initially they turned me down. What a mistake. And then,
Shocking.
so yeah, I know. And then Macmillan accepted me. And ironically, actually, Cancer UK did accept me at a later date.
Right.
But I'd kind of committed to Macmillan at that point. And, both charities are very focused on cancer, obviously. And that's what I wanted to do it for. So yeah,
Okay.
stuck with Macmillan.
Yeah. And obviously that's close to your heart. Could you share a little bit about
Like
that?
most people, cancer has affected most families, hasn't it? You know,
Yeah.
I'm not the only one.
Yeah. I totally get where you're coming from, and I actually remember when I did it, the incredible amount of emotion that people were displaying through the run. So I think,
Yeah.
is it Tower Bridge?
Yeah.
I remember it was like really quiet leading up to Tower Bridge,
Yeah.
and then you sort of do a turning right or something, and suddenly there's just this eruption of crowd and
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
and people stop and obviously see some loved ones, and there's a lot of emotion
Yeah.
on the day. It's
Yeah.
because everybody's running for a cause that's very close to home, or something they
Yeah.
really believe in and want to help.
I think you can tell, because actually you couldn't read my name. I had Rocky on my top, and I think obviously a lot of people that know me know that people call me Rocky, but obviously crowds on the street probably kind of didn't really know what that meant. And so they couldn't really read my top properly. People were shouting to me, "Go Macmillan, go Macmillan," which again, because everybody knows that charity so well,
Yeah.
and you know, kind of, yeah, quite a lot of people are kind of bound to it, sadly. You know, you see a Macmillan or cancer research or something kind of coming around the corner, and everybody can kind of relate to that. So yeah, hearing "Go Macmillan," so my friend's top, her name could be seen quite easily, so people were kind of going, "Go Heidi, go Macmillan," because we were running together.
I remember I didn't I think when you go beforehand to get your number and everything, they offer like the t-shirt thing where they can put the letters on. They
Yeah.
like iron them on or steam them on or
Yeah.
something, I don't know, or glue them on. I
Yeah.
don't know what they, I didn't do that. I was like, oh, I'll do it myself.
Oh,
And unfortunately,
okay.
when I did it, like they started to slowly peel off as I was getting warmer and sweating and stuff. So it's like, yeah, I don't know what people were shouting at me, probably unrepeatable.
Well, it's quite interesting, because we had some novelty glasses
Yes,
that
I
we
saw.
wore, which were daisies. And I have to say, you know, my friend said, "Oh, you know, we'll wear them at the start," but they weren't the most comfortable because they were quite big. And actually, we were so glad that we wore those, because so as we were going round, so many people were just commenting on the daisies, and kind of there was a couple of people that were going to see people at different places along the route, and we recognized them, and they were shouting out, going, "Oh, it's the Daisy Girls. Keep
There you
going,
go.
keep going." So we kind
Yeah.
of got recognized for those glasses as well, which was it was just really nice to kind of have that interaction with the crowd, and people going, "Oh, I love your glasses."
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
What? Obviously, I mean, you know, you covered that you didn't do a lot of running prior to this. I mean, this is getting out of the comfort zone. How, from what I remember, the training is the hard bit, because when you run, you've got all the people shouting and encouraging you, and you're part of just this enormous group of people doing this special thing. But the
Yeah.
training, there's none of that. It's cold and miserable outside. It's icy, and yeah. How did the training go? I mean, presumably that was right out the comfort zone, right?
That was, yeah, that was a lot, like you say, that was a lot harder than the actual run itself, because it's just that commitment to basically getting up and doing it. I'm probably going against the norm in that I got a treadmill,
Okay, right.
partly because I thought, because it's so outside my comfort zone, if I have to train in the rain and get wet and cold, I'm possibly gonna pull out. So I got a treadmill because I just thought I can't be going out and getting wet. I actually, ironically, found it easier on the treadmill, and I think maybe that's because I'm not a runner. It helped me pace,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, and you know, they say, like, put a tea towel over the clock and the pedometer and stuff on a treadmill, so that you're not constantly looking at it. Again, I was totally the opposite, because the only thing that was keeping me going was watching, like, the miles going up,
or
and me
up, yeah.
thinking, oh my goodness, I've done 5 miles.
Well, you do like numbers, don't you? You like numbers.
Oh, well,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
Counting the numbers, as you do.
Yeah.
And on the tread, I could watch Netflix and watch series and stuff like that. And I just found it easier on the treadmill. Then when I started going outside, I found I was faster outside than on the tread.
Okay. Yeah.
So, thank goodness it was that way round, right? And yeah, so I'd kind of then started doing half on the tread and half outside as I was like building up the miles. But yeah, it's the commitment to it and trying to find the time really, and like, allocating one of your weekend days 100% to running, training, also like nutrition, like trying to eat. I mean, I've eaten better in the last 3 months than I've probably eaten in the last 30 years, which is good. It's kind of put me on that plan now. So I'm grateful for that it's kind of shown me the way on nutrition as well. So yeah, it's the package of being committed to all of those things, watching your friends go out and you can't go out, watching people, having, 5 glasses of wine and you can only have one, and things like that. But it's short term, isn't it? It wasn't that bad, and I didn't do as much training as I should have.
Right.
And I did the Reading half marathon about 6 weeks ago.
Okay. How did that go?
That was a wake-up call. But I was really glad I did it. My friend went quite a lot faster than me. She was glad that she did it because it taught her that she went too fast. Yeah, I struggled with that, and I did go to physio after that, just to get things a little bit more in order. I had quite a lot of back pain, a few kind of twinges here and there. So I was glad I did it, but it was a wake-up call because after 13 miles I hurt, and I thought, my goodness, I've got to do double this. And it I'd only done up to, before Reading, which was 13 miles, I think I'd only really done up to like 10-12k.
Right. So it's like nearly
Reading,
double.
I thought, after Reading I thought, oh my gosh, I need to get me acting here a little bit. And over the Easter bank holiday, I managed another half on Good Friday, and then I made myself do 18.6 miles on Easter Monday.
Very good.
And having done that, I knew I'd be able to do it, because I thought, if I've done 18.6, I can do 26.
Well, I remember, so treadmills. I actually have a friend who trained for the whole thing on a treadmill.
Wow.
He just did treadmill, and he smashed a time at the time. He did a great time. It was like 3.5 hours or something. He did it all on a treadmill.
Yeah. Wow.
Or most of it. I think he barely went outside much for running. And then I remember training, and I think I had my son was 1 year old, or barely one. So that was a bit of an error to commit to doing a marathon with a baby, basically. Nearly finished my relationship off at the time.
I can imagine.
But I remember, because he was so young, he was just hoovering up all these bugs and then giving them to us. So I went down twice, really ill in training. So it cut my training down by about sort of 4 or 5 weeks, and went on antibiotics twice, which you never normally do that. And people saying, "Oh, you can't do it. It's too close. Stop, pull out." It's like, no, I'm going to do it. But I remember having some good runs after recovering, and then deciding, right, I'm going to do 21 miles today, and it felt fantastic. The first bit, second bit back, then third bit starting to churn a bit, and I sort of been aiming for a time, and got so far. And I think the last 400 yards or 500 yards was literally walking around like that, and the body was just starting to shut down a bit. And it sort of dawned on me that pace, given the training I'd done, was just not achievable. I'd have to slow it right down on the day. Otherwise I wouldn't make it. I mean, And it reminds me, I think there was some professional athlete who was like literally crawling over the line one year. I seem to recall a lady was, she's like one of the elites, and even she was keeled over, and I was like, oh, I know where that's coming from.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, I think we went to the expo the week before, and there was obviously quite people speaking, and they said that is one of the like biggest mistakes, that even though they've done the training,
go too quick.
Start off at a pace that's not doable, and then something happens, or you just I think everybody hits the brick wall, but I think with some people, if you start too fast, I think I mean, we saw a couple of people along the way that had injuries, and were literally almost like dragging themselves along. And I feel so sorry for those people, because they probably, they look more athletic than I do, shall I say. So they've probably done loads of training, and then something snapped. And
probably going for an ambitious time. I seem to remember it was all quite good. And then you sort of hit Docklands. I don't know if this happened for you. And at Docklands, I started to see people going down. Like, start seeing paramedics around.
Yeah.
And people getting treated, and people being driven off in ambulances and stuff like this. And you go, ooh, ooh, this is getting a bit serious. It suddenly starts to hit home. This is quite an undertaking around Docklands, remember. And I think you also sort of, you run along and then you sort of double back on yourself at Docklands. So it's quite psychologically disturbing, because you see people on the other side.
Yeah.
And like, oh no, I've got to come all the way back round. No.
Yeah. So we saw that, and I remember like looking. So I saw quite a few pacers coming back the other way, and at that point we were fairly slow jogging, and on the other side of the road they were running like much faster than us, and they were with the 4.5 hour pacers. And I just thought, oh wow, they're going so much faster than we are, and they're so much further ahead. The best thing about that was the Facebook group that we were in, which was run by a guy called David Yim, and he's like just he's not a like professional runner, but I think he was doing the 6, which I think is a worldwide thing. But anyway, he's been brilliant, and like set up this Facebook group, and literally we saw him on the other side with the fast runners, and his partner had just had like a slight kind of stumble, and she was just doing some stretches, so he was stood there. So we went over and obviously had a selfie with him, and actually like just seeing somebody that and having that moment of interaction actually gave us a massive boost. So although it was a bit depressing that people were going the other way on a timing of 4.5 hours, and we were kind of looking at least 6 at that point, we were kind of like, no, we can do this.
Wow, brilliant.
So that's probably that. It's a hard bit watching people go the other way. Because the worst thing about that as well was we were then carrying on, and I was thinking, okay, very soon we're going to turn a corner and double back, and it seemed ages, and I was thinking, oh, when am I going to be doubling
keeps
back?
Going, doesn't it? Yeah, it just
does.
Keeps going.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about. Do they still have the mile markers as well? Because I found them a bit psychologically disturbing.
Yeah, I found them good in the beginning, because we were on a good pace in the beginning. So we kind of got to mile 1, mile 2, mile 3, and we were kind of saying, well, God, can't believe I've run like 3 miles already. This is great, trundling through. Then when you start kind of hitting, 17, 18, you're kind of like, oh, okay, I'm not sure I want to see that, because you're still thinking you've got like, nearly 10 to go. That's quite hard.
Yeah. So what do you take from it? What do you take from doing the marathon? You're going to do another one?
Not sure that I'm going to do another marathon. Definitely will be doing halves.
Okay, brilliant.
So I think having got to this stage, I do want to try and maintain some level of fitness that I have built up, which is good. I think one of the main takeaways is, though, if you put your mind to it, you can do it. And I think that's probably what I would say more than anything, I am not a runner. I don't do fitness, and I've just run 26.2 miles, having trained for 4 months. And literally, I've had a lot of people obviously say to me, oh, I could never do that. And I say, honestly, if I can do it, anyone can. And I mean that with the best intention. Anyone can. And if you knew my level of fitness beforehand, and the fact that, I used to run up the stairs in our main building in Oxford, and I couldn't do a telephone call for 5 minutes afterwards because I couldn't breathe. And now I've just run 26.2 miles. So anything is possible, believe me.
I remember I had not a physio, like a chiropractor.
Yeah.
And he was saying, well, look, just take it easy. Obviously you're 21, you went a bit hard.
Yeah.
And he gave the adage, slow and steady wins the race. And I think that's the phrase for the London Marathon, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Slow and steady, consistent, slow pace will get you through.
Yeah. So many people said that, and actually, like I say, we were on for a good pace at the start. I'm not saying we didn't go too fast, but we saw some people that started with us, that stayed behind us, that were literally like, the pace was like, just really dead on. And mile like 21, 22, they were overtaking us because they were such steady eddies that they just went straight through. So I'm not saying we went too fast at first, but we couldn't maintain that initial pace. So there were some people that were just really on it pace wise, and they did go past us. So that saying is so true.
Yeah, indeed. So any advice for people thinking about that, about doing the marathon?
Oh, just do it. Just do it. Yeah.
Amazing,
because
isn't it?
I think, I think for me, if I I wanted to get fit, but if I hadn't have been doing the marathon, I would never have done any amount of training that I've done. I think you've got to have a goal, and I think that's why I will keep up with the half marathons, because if I am not booked into something like that, and have that kind of end goal to look to, I wouldn't keep it up.
Yeah, indeed.
But my advice to anybody would be, do it. And do it while you can. And that was a thing for me. I kind of, even when I did the Reading half marathon, there was people that were, I would say, like quite a bit older than me, and that were overtaking me. And I just thought, you know what, you've got to do this kind of stuff while you can.
I remember people in their sort of 70s, maybe even 80s doing it when I was running. They were on my sort of pace. It's like, wow.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely inspirational, totally. No, absolutely amazing. And I think quite a lot of them do like it regularly. There was a guy that was running with us at one point, and he said, oh, I saw the back of your t-shirt. Oh, I lost my mum to this day, actually. And he said, I think he'd done another one like 6 months ago. And ironically, it was on the day that he lost his dad like 10 years ago. And I mean, he had to be 15, 20 years older than me. And he's doing them regularly. And I just like, absolutely amazing. Totally.
It's a bit addictive as a thing. It's quite it's such a massive high on the day.
Yeah.
I remember, like you, I remember going, right, I'm going to do some half marathons. And I did do the Oxford half marathon afterwards.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I'll have a break. And then 10 years passed, and now I'm looking at you guys doing it and going, oh, I think I want to do that again.
Maybe I'll get back into it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the thing is, well, I suppose like you, so I was going to book onto the Oxford one, and then the Reading one for 2024 has come out, so I think I would always have to make sure that I had one booked in, to keep that momentum going. So yeah.
It's made you change your diet a bit. It's made you exercise more.
Yeah.
How much did you raise for Macmillan? Can you say?
Oh yeah, I'm on 5,500 at the moment, excluding gift aid, so that puts it
Right.
over 6.
And it's still open, right? So
It is
the
still
page
open.
is still
It's
open.
still open for business. You know, it's like I say, unfortunately, it's just one of those charities, isn't it? That resonates with a lot of people. And yeah, I did go outside my comfort zone for it. So I think it's worth a donation.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, please do. I think, yeah, it's amazing. And to have not done much exercise and then suddenly launched into this, I think, yeah, go big or go home really is the phrase. You
Yeah.
really went for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think well, people that know me will know that I'm quite a determined person. So I think when I first started talking about it, actually the reactions I got from people made me want to do it even more, because I just kind of thought, yeah, no, I'm actually going to do it, and I'm going to show you that I can do it. That would probably be the stubbornness part of my
I resonate, because I
personality.
remember being flat on my back in a bed, feeling sick on the antibiotics, and yeah, nearest and dearest going, no, you give it
Yeah.
up. You
Yeah.
can't do it. You have to do it another year or not do
Yeah.
it at all.
Yeah.
What? No. What do you mean? So yeah, my 4 months cut down to about 2.5, but yeah, no, it's amazing. So okay, right, so 5K for that. So I mean that's a hell of a lot of money. 5K.
It's
That's
good,
and
isn't it?
still going.
Yeah.
Wow.
I am really pleased about that, actually. But I have, like everybody at Wellers has been extremely generous. My village has just been amazing. I don't even know half the people in my village, and I put it on our village WhatsApp. And
Wow.
everyone's
Okay.
just been, incredible. I have tried to social media it and put it on kind of Facebook and LinkedIn and Insta and stuff like that. And yeah, no, like loads of people have just been like so generous. It's absolutely amazing.
Well, it's all over Weller's accounts
Yes.
on social, and this video will go all over those accounts, and it will contain the link to
Yeah.
donate. So yeah, for sure. I mean, you're into it. Anything else you want to add about this experience that you felt, or anything you could
Uh,
advice, or anything else you want to describe about the day? I mean, it's such a massive high from memory.
Yeah, I think it's quite. Yeah, I mean, I was quite nervous the couple of days before. My friend wasn't really. She was quite excited, and it's usually me that's like the quite motivating one. So I was nervous the couple of days before, because I just kind of thought, no, I know I can do it, but the paranoia, as they say, it
Right,
was
yeah.
kicking in. And I was really glad that I was part of that Facebook group, actually, because everybody was sharing,
Tips.
problems, and oh my God, I don't think I've done enough training. And, the longest run I've ever done is 15 miles. And you see something like that, and I think, okay, well, I've done 19, so that means I'm okay. And it just kind of reinforces that belief in yourself, I suppose. So that was really helpful. But I have to say, I felt really flat yesterday because you have all this like lead up to it, and it was such an amazing day, and like even managed to have a few drinks like afterwards.
Right.
And then yesterday I got home and I was just like, okay, done a marathon.
Uh.
Right. Great.
It is. It's the low after the high.
Well, it is.
The
And
calm
then
down.
actually the Facebook group, again, there was people putting comments on it last night, and people sharing how they felt the same. And I thought, okay, this is great. This is normal. And then I saw a couple of friends like today, and they're going, oh my God, this is just so amazing. And I'm like, yeah, and everyone else seems to be much more excited than I
Right.
am. But I think
Okay.
it's probably just processing. Yeah, and
Yeah.
my legs hurt a little bit, and that's kind of probably bringing me
It's
down a little bit.
it's an incredibly special day. Did you were you using like energy tablets or those gel things?
Yeah, well, I didn't use gels for a long time, actually, because for me, the kind of consistency thing of
Oh, they're
gels.
horrible, aren't they? Ugh.
Yeah, but you know what? Again, that's another benefit I would say about doing something like a half marathon before, because in Reading, I wasn't using gels in Reading. So that's how close it was to the marathon, only like 6 weeks before. But the streets of Reading were like laden with empty gel packets. And I thought, okay, there's got to be something in this. And so then I started using them. And actually, I took those on much more than water because
Really?
obviously like the water means that you have to toilet stop, and
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
using electrolyte sachets in water, but it does mean that it kind of means that you've got to stop, and where with the gels you're not taking on that volume of water. So yeah, I had gels, I had salt sticks, I had fruit pastels,
Did you?
and actually I had, do you know what do you know what made a massive impact? I hadn't taken polos before, but
Really?
no. And then I took polos on the marathon day, and I have to say they got me through, because
Really?
like the gels and the fruit pastels and everything don't like leave a great aftertaste in your mouth, and when you're trundling along, your mouth doesn't feel very fresh. However, polos,
Well,
game changer.
I remember training with the gels for the first
Yeah,
time, and I sort of
yeah.
opened it, and I don't know what I was doing. It just splattered all over me. I don't know whether it was off or what. It just tried.
uh,
That was it. I was never using gels. So taking the
oh
tablets,
yeah,
I sort of remember using them from about 14, 15 miles quite a bit, because it starts, especially at 18. I think 18 is that magic number. It really all starts to kick in.
yeah,
Um, and then I also remember people were like handing out like jelly babies.
yes,
I think I literally
yeah.
just grabbed a whole pack off someone. Like, 21 miles, more.
Yeah.
I love
I
jelly babies as well, so it's good.
Yeah, no, well, jelly babies are the go-to, but unfortunately, being a vegetarian, I can't eat jelly
Right, yeah,
babies, so
yeah,
that's why I had to have
yeah,
fruit pastels. There's a lot of people along the street like giving out Haribos and stuff as well, but generally Haribos aren't veggie either. So I couldn't graciously accept any of those offerings, unfortunately.
no jellies.
Um, yeah, but we did do quite a lot of reading actually beforehand, and getting like the timing of those gels and stuff is really important, because they do say that your stomach shuts down at mile 17, no, mile 16, I think was the general consensus.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
so the advice was take on the gels in those early stages, because once you're hitting 17 and 18, your stomach's going to struggle to actually process what you're putting in.
Yeah.
So I was quite mindful of that. I think I only had one gel after 16, but I was loading it like
Really?
coming
I
coming
did it all
up to
wrong then.
that.
I didn't know that at the time. So I was loading after like 16 miles, not a lot before. Just
Yeah, but
massive sugar hit after sugar hit, basically.
I did notice at like about mile 22, I did start feeling sick.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like quite nauseous.
Actually, I remember after my 21 miles, I had to
Yeah,
go for lunch after that. I'd done it in the morning.
yeah,
I remember eating and out at the pub or something, eating, and
yeah,
some family friend was talking to me, and I remember starting to feel really sick inside and just trying to put a brave face on it. I don't
yeah.
know what the heebie-jeebies that you get from running.
Yeah, well, even I'm struggling to eat even now.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I ate nothing after the race. And I remember my brother going, you must be absolutely famished. And I'm like, well, I could not eat. I couldn't even smell food. That would
Oh.
have been enough. I managed a few glasses of champagne. Um,
Oh,
and
so
I think
that bit was all right. Yeah.
it was fine, funnily enough. Like, give me champagne. I think I had half a banana when I got back to my room, but then even yesterday I probably had a couple of slices of toast, but that's all I can really manage.
Okay.
So my stomach is still finding its way a little
Okay.
bit, and it's not an upset stomach. It's actually like literally no appetite,
Mm.
no appetite
Mm.
at all. But my friend feels the same, so at least
Okay.
I you know I'm not unique in that. So yeah, slowly.
Bit of carb loading needed probably at some stage, but yeah.
Yeah, well, no, I was doing that quite a lot the days up to the marathon. I was in heaven, you know, pizza, pasta.
Yeah, exactly. The carb load's
bliss.
fantastic the week before, isn't it? It's wonderful.
Absolutely. I'd almost do it again just so I could carb load for a week.
Eat as much as you want before. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, wonderful. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think on that note, congratulations. Well done. I think it's a great place to leave it. Carb loading and champagne.
Carb loading and champagne. Yeah. What were your reasons for doing the marathon?
Yeah.
Carb loading and champagne afterwards.
Indeed. Quite. And who knows? Maybe maybe we'll do it again next year.
You never know,
after
Chris.
11 or 12 years, and you can do a second one.
I might feel crazy enough after a week to do the ballot. You never know.
Indeed. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Well done, Christina. Great effort. We're very proud
Thank you, Chris.
of you.
Thanks very much.
Great stuff. Well done.
Bye.